opportunity to get back together again and talk about a sport that we all love, and I'm sure that it'll be no different with basketball, but I desperately wish that Art was here to MC this instead of me, because that would mean he is all right. The world would be back to normal, because it hasn't felt normal ever since. We will keep him in our thoughts and our prayers, and we have for months now. Looking around the room at a lot of new faces and everything, so to try and make it easy on the new guys, at least I think, Coach McHenry, you've been here for this before, right, in its other incarnation, so we'll let you lead the way, give us an update on the Kickapoo Chiefs, and then maybe some of the new coaches will know what the drill is.
We're 3 games in. We played the Harvest Classic over at Parkview last week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Started first game, played Rogers Heritage, played well. Had an easy win against them, shot the ball very well. Turned around and played Dismet the second game. Dismet, Kit Williams is up at Dismet, who was on staff with Conzo for a few years. He does a really, really good job with his group. And they took it to us early. They scored 40 points in the first half. We were not ready to play some of our guys. And our margin of error is not as high as it's been in the past couple of years. So we're kind of the 8-man rotation where we need all 8 to be locked in, focused. And we didn't have that for our second game. Held them to 22 points in the second half. But couldn't really get it going. Had the ball, I think, 2 or 3 straight possessions in a 1-point game, and had empty possessions. And then they pulled away and got it to about 4, 5, 6, 7 to end the game. They turned around and played Greytown and Kansas City in the 3rd place game, and we all know how 3rd place games can go. And we just challenged our kids to handle it the right way, play together, play for each other. And we were really facing a similar style of game that we struggled in the night before with what Greytown tries to do. Greytown's a little bit younger than us, talented as this man, but still very athletic, played a lot of guys, and felt like we played really well against them, responded really well, played together, had a little bit better buy-in. So we're just trying to take that momentum, and we're going into this week where we're going up to Blue Valley Northwest to play in another tournament. It's first year they've had this classic or tournament. It's only 4 teams, so we play Bentonville West on Thursday, who is currently 5 or 6-0 right now. Got a kid going to Central Arkansas, about 6'7" shooter. We turn around and play Father Tolton the next day, who has beat Webster already this year. Webster was returning state champion last year in Class 5. And then we finished with Blue Valley Northwest, who I think they've kind of got a team. They were a little bit down last year. They're really strong, always a good team in the Kansas City, Kansas side of things. So that's what our 3 games look like this week. And Art, we love you. We miss you, and we hope to see you soon.
Mitch is at Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So to sum up, the Kickapoo Chiefs not anybody right now with that schedule. We'll move on. We'll work the front of the row, and then we'll work the back of the row. Republic Tigers in the house. Coach Tim Brown, let us know what's been going on at Tiger Country.
We're currently 2-1. We started off in the Republic Invitational, our tournament, and it was a very loaded field this year. We had 2 of the top teams from Arkansas, Bentonville. Everybody knows Coach Rippey. He's got a really talented squad. They won our tournament in Springdale, Arkansas. They're another talented team from that area as well. They ended up playing in the finals and had a really good game. Then we had Park Hill South from the Kansas City area, one of the top programs in that area, as well as Liberty High School, another top team from the Kansas City area, along with us, Rolla, Ozark, and West Plains. We started our first game against West Plains. We won pretty convincingly, shot the ball pretty well. Played our second game against Springdale. It was kind of a game of runs. They're a very athletic, talented team. We were down 10 to start the game. We went on a 19-2 run in the middle of the game. Felt like we should have been up by a little more at halftime. Didn't kind of close out the half. I think we were up 5 after the half, and then up 3 going into the fourth, and then they made the last run and they got us. So like Coach McHenry mentioned, those third place games can be tough. We played Rolla in the third place game. Anyone that knows anything about Rolla, they're really a hard team to prepare for, even with multiple days of prep, especially the day after, because they run a lot of sets and change defenses. And we beat them by 6 in that game, led by 12 or 13 most of the game, and they made some threes late to kind of hang around. So really excited about being able to walk away from our tournament with 2 wins, even though we wanted to make it to the finals, but you get 2 wins in our tournament, you've done something. And so pretty pleased with where we're at. This week we go to the Jefferson City area. We play Fatima High School. They're one of the top teams in Class 4. I think they're preseason state ranked, and play them on their home court. And then we'll play Blair Oaks on their home court on Saturday, another team that's one of the top Class 4 teams in the state. So chance to play 2 really good teams on the road, and chance for us to see what we're made of.
All right, thank you. Say best of luck against the Comets, the open-ended Comets in the state of Missouri under Marysville, right, Coach Earl? Say Carterville, and Carterville still had a high school. They were the Comets. Back out, I wouldn't say that. Because Carl went there. Jack Simpson is with us. Jack still gets to wear green, but for a different school now. First year as the head coach at Parkview.
Yeah, I didn't have to check my wardrobe. So
Lucky man.
We also participated in our tournament, which is the Harvest Classic. We went 0-3 this week, but I think the record's a little deceiving. Thursday night we played Elias at Jet City. They got to the state championship game last year in Class 5. Different team than what they were a year ago. But I like to sum them up, and I tell people this, that they're the better mind of our high school basketball area. The way that they moved the basketball was extremely well. But we're up 15 with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Ended up losing by a 3 at the buzzer. Not at the buzzer, I guess, but ended up losing on a 3-pointer with about 3 seconds left in overtime. Turn around Friday. Our kids are obviously a little depleted after a loss like that opening night. And so I kind of challenged them like you would for a third place game to come out and play with great energy and great effort. That's how we did that. We're up 10 in the fourth quarter, and we lose by 2 on the layup at the end of the game. Then Saturday, our energy was not very good, and we played Rogers Heritage, and I think we're down 15 at one point in the third quarter, make a run, come back. We had the lead late, and then just don't make enough plays, and we lose in double overtime by 2. So we lose by 3, by 2 at the end, and then by 2 in double overtime. So, we're only 3 games in, so I like to think we're going to continue to get better as the season goes on. Got a really young team with only 1 senior back from a year ago, and you just got to learn from all those situations and get better. This week we got Raj on Friday night. Raj coming off a tournament victory down there in Kansas City. I'm not sure exactly what tournament they were in, but they won it. So, a little bit 2 different feels, I guess, for 2 teams coming in on Friday night. And I think our kids are going to show up in battle. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Go to the back row now and find out what's going on with New Company Academy. Coach Borland.
I appreciate it. We played 4 games at this point. We're 1-3, but I don't think it is really a good indicator of this group or the quality of team we have, because for the most part, we're only about 6 deep, and I don't think I've had 2 guys provide every one of those games. For certain reasons, we opened up with Spokane before Thanksgiving break, and we were without our soccer team. Made it to the state semifinals, and they played in the semifinals and then the third place game. And our point guard is a soccer player who had he wasn't ready to play, obviously. So and on top of that, we moved the game from a Friday to a Monday with the purpose that he was not going to get to practice. We at least had that in the body, and he let me know that morning that he had hurt his back, so he wasn't even going to be playing. Luckily, it was the Thanksgiving break, so he was able to kind of have some time to recover. And then we had another one out sick, so we went into it with a freshman who I didn't think would be on the floor, but maybe 2 or 3 minutes occasionally as a starter, and another freshman coming off the bench. And we were just kind of, it's felt like for the first 4 games, it's kind of been more of a crisis management with guys being sick and just trying to figure out how to plug guys in and get them in the right places. But our guys are competing. It was, I think, a 4-point game with about 3 minutes left. And if you know anything about Spokane, you want to have all the bigs you can to go against their big JD. And we ended up, like I said, one of them was out. So he just kind of took over at the end. We ended up losing that one by 14. Followed that up after Thanksgiving with going to the Morrisville tournament, and we played a Max Street team that's very experienced and it's a pretty solid group. And for that one, we did have our point guard back, but he was still coming off the injury, so we felt like we were kind of in a place where we had everybody, but it still developing chemistry because we didn't have practices together, and he wasn't able to practice. And, we lost that one by 2. We actually had the ball with about 7.4 seconds to go to the court, got a nice look from about 20 or so, and one of our guys grabbed it right at the horn, tips it in. It's about a half second too late to send it to overtime. But we were proud of the guys that they're not making any excuses. They just keep showing up and competing and playing hard. Then we followed that one with, in the consolation bracket, we played a Greenfield team, started to kind of have everybody for the most part, still another one out, but won that one by 21 to get our first win for the season. And then going into 5th place game, consolation championship, whatever you want to call it. We're going to call it something different, but we're going to play against the Pleasant Hope team. And the day before, we have 3 guys out sick. On Friday, wasn't sure who we were going to have by Saturday. And ended up with our leading scorer and best player being one of them. He was out Saturday, and we ended up losing that one by 4. The guys are just still continuing to compete and try to play in some different roles that they haven't had. But the kid that we had missing is a senior for us, Nathan Altman. He's been really trying to carry us. He's the 6'4", kind of point forward for us right now. That's getting us 20 and 8. And he was the guy that was out. And because of that, it took us a while to get going, but we got it tied up and ended up losing that one by 4. We have coming up this next week, we have Greenwood tomorrow night, and then Summit Christian Academy is coming in on Saturday. They're playing Friday night at Reed Springs, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but is it Truesdale, who former banjo player that was on the national championship team, who's been in Minnesota, is now he's coaching them his first year with them, so he's coming back into the area, and I'm sure they'll have as many fans through him as we will against them on Saturday. And then the following week from there, we go to Morrisville. We have Fair Play coming to our place, and then we have finally a district opponent with Galena on that following Friday.
All right, Coach. Best of luck. Springfield Catholic has a new coach, first-year head coach. He might be good at this. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But Jay Osborne, now with the Irish. Let us know what's going on over on that side of town.
So far, it's doing better. Yeah, I love my job. I like the new environment. I'm trying to get some things done over there. We're 1-2. We beat Mount Grove in the Clever tournament, and we lost to Hartville on Friday, which probably wasn't unexpected. And then we lost to Hillcrest on Saturday. So we've got 2 quality losses, if there is such a thing. I told the kids after the game, it's if you move to the right, we'll probably you go 1-2 with our group. If we move to the left, we would have lost our first round. We're probably 2-1. So quite certain of that. So got good kids. I like our kids. I like our team. They're playing hard. They're absorbing a lot of material I'm throwing at them, and they're pretty intelligent. We're just struggling to shoot the ball. We don't have great shooters. Got a couple shooters that have potential. So it's my job to get them shots in the right spot. So things are good. We're off all week. I didn't like our schedule when I saw it when we had this whole downtime coming up. And after our performance this weekend, I'm glad we have a week to prepare and get back in the gym and get some things ironed up. It's going well. Next week, after this week, we've got a week off, and we've got Forsyth at home. Then we go to Webb City on a Thursday, and then we've got Sparta on the following Tuesday. So people ask me how things are going. I like my job, and everybody's happy right now. But if we go like 1-6 into the blue and gold, things will probably change. But that's a possibility too. So we've got a kid right now with a stress fracture in his foot, I think. So he might be out for a while. I've got another kid that will become eligible in January. Probably our best shooter. It's going to help us. So I think long term, we're looking at good things. I think in January we got into our conference. I think we'll be okay. Be more competitive. I like our team right now. I like our kids are working hard, and It's going well. Going well.
Well, thank you for coming, Jay. Glad to have you here. We'll shift from high school to college now. I say Drury is already 8 games into their season. They have a home game tomorrow night. Assistant Coach Fisher here to talk to us about the Panthers.
Yeah, I think Coach Foster probably wishes he was here talking to you guys rather than 50 of our boosters over in the layer at Drury. But yeah, 8 games in, as Corey said, we're 2-6, which is an unfamiliar territory. But again, you got to keep reminding yourself we have 13 new guys, and out of those 13 new guys, we have some Division I transfers, but it's guys that haven't really had any college experience. Our grad student from Auburn probably hadn't played any meaningful minutes since high school. Our kid from Old Dominion hadn't played in 2 years. So again, we're treating them all like freshmen. So you got to keep reminding yourself of that. And with the process, we started off 2-0, and we're probably feeling pretty good about ourselves. And then played some tough competition. Our league is there's Bellarmine's not in there anymore. Southern Indiana's not in there anymore, and it's from top to bottom. It's as good as it's been, or as close as talent-wise as it's been in a long time. So anybody can beat anybody. Last week we lost S&T close. Had a chance. We just kind of shoot ourselves in the foot in opportune times. And Thursday we go to UMSL, and they're 18th in the country, and get beat pretty good by them. And then Saturday we lose to Maryville. We foul with 0.6 seconds left, and they make one of the free throws. So it's tough. Once we lost our first game, the formula was kind of out, just pressure us and kind of knock us on our heels, and that's what it's been for 2 weeks straight now. And I think we're starting to turn the corner with that and knowing how to handle that. And we just got to understand that we got a bunch of young guys, and hopefully by late January and February, we're playing our best basketball and peaking at the right time, because we do have the right guys. We do have a good collection of guys, and it's just a matter of trying to get them to get some practice time and gel together. But tomorrow we play Hannibal LaGrange, so hopefully things go well there. And then Saturday's another conference game against Quincy, who's good, has beaten some good teams. And again, our league just kind of beats up on each other. And then we'll end before our mandatory break for Christmas. We go to Southern Arkansas down in Magnolia, Arkansas. So if anybody's ever been there, just let me know where to eat at. And I think there's only a few spots. So we play them a week from next Monday. So and then we're off, and we're back to league play.
Then you match up with Quincy here or up there?
Quincy is here, and LaGrange is here, then we go to Southern Arkansas.
All right. I say Art was always used to this kind of stuff. I think I am not. It's hard for me to realize now that if more than half the coaches that are here to speak today, I covered when they were in high school, which means I feel a lot older today than I normally do. Our last coach is one of those former players that is now an assistant coach at BBC, along with his dad, Dallas Minders, is here. We talk about what's going on with Baptist Bible College. Coach, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. We are 6-4 right now. We've really amped up our schedule from the last couple of seasons. We got one D3, couple D2s, one school in our division, and the rest are all NAIAs. So we're really on an NAIA schedule right now. Without some injuries, our leading scorer has been hurt for half the season, but he just came back a few games ago. So that's really helped us hit our stride a little bit the last couple games. Really young. We only have 3 returners from last year's squad, and we're playing a lot of freshmen. We've been pretty inconsistent so far, but we show at times what we're capable of, and I think we have the ability and the talent to get there, but just the consistency that takes to win at the college level, a lot of our guys haven't figured out yet, but I do think we're getting better, and we'll get there hopefully. So we got Lacone and NAI in Muskogee, Oklahoma tomorrow, and then we wrap up our first semester with William Woods at William Woods up in Fulton, Missouri.
All right. Happy to be back for the start of basketball season. Everything went really well.